Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our New Jersey's Cheon 1 prayer vigil. We will begin by greeting our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Cheonjin Champumanke Kyombe. Baro. We will now recite the family pledge, first in Korean.
이 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Number 2, our family, the owner of Cheonilguk, pledges to represent and become central to heaven and earth by attending the Heavenly Parent and true parents. We pledge to perfect the dutiful family way of filial sons and daughters in our family, patriots in our nation, saints in the world, and divine sons and daughters in heaven and on earth by centering on true love. Thank you. We will now go into our opening prayer. Can I please ask Mrs. Mie if she can offer an opening prayer?
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Let us pray. Beloved Heavenly Parents, thank you so much for this morning. We are gathering here to sing more prayers. We sincerely want to offer our gratitude. We are living such a time. Our true parents, true father in the spirit world, and true mother on this earth, they are truly one. And we also, through this Cheon prayer, we feel so much your love, and to be becoming through your sons and daughters, sharing the this beautiful love, your infinite and unchanging and unconditional love. We sometimes struggle to understand your this infinite love through the creation and through each other's as brothers and sisters. The mother was sharing her heart, reading the memoirs together, the historical, the her feeling and her other begotten daughters, she's sharing to us, and we are consuming this beautiful her experience, and also sharing with brothers and sisters. We feel your love tremendously. We are so grateful. Please guide each one of us. We want to grow more, understand your heart, and to really sharing to the world that we are blessed central families, restoring our ancestors and restoring each other's. Thank you so much. This gracious the cause you were giving to each one of us. Please guide this moment and the listening to again through Stephen Boyd, his take, his experience also. Thank you so much. I sincerely offer this my name, Remy Repokan, 정글 blessed from families. Aju.
Aju, thank you so much, Ms. Lepokin, for that heartfelt prayer. We will now go into our morning light stretches. So we'll begin with our three big deep breaths in and out. Go with our first one, big deep breath in, out. Other one, big deep breath in, out. Another big deep breath in, and out. All right, and we'll stretch for the sky. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then crossing your arms. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to stand up. We're going to do legs today. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to bring your foot up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. 5, 3, 2, 1. And now we'll bring it forward. Try to get your ankle rotations as well. 5, 4. One. We'll do hip rotations. One. Other side. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, now we'll reach for your toes. Or for your knees, whatever you can do. All right, the last 2 seconds, you can stretch any body part or massage any body part you feel. 9, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right, hopefully everyone's wide awake and ready to share any appreciations or gratitude for today. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I was in a breakout room with Mrs. Erna and Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, but due to time, I'm only going to be able to ask for one representative to share their appreciation or gratitude. So can I please call up Mr. and Mrs. Lewis to share?
All right, good morning. Yeah, I shared about yesterday's board meeting that we had as the One World Peace Association. So I'm so glad we've looked back at 3 years since we got incorporated, and this organization looks forward towards helping, especially the reforestation of Two Parents' hometowns. So yeah, this year is a new year, so we really had set new goals, new intentions, and had connected with. We met in person as well as via Zoom, like with the elder right in Miami, and so yeah, I'm so grateful that everybody keeps being persistent, and despite not too much result, it's yeah, and everything starts off small, right? And if you have faith and you pour in enough effort, then little by little you see progression. So yeah, very grateful, and also especially for Chie Tsunamura. She's a volunteer to help us with the website. So soon, I hope within a month, we can launch the website, and then there will be more presence on the internet as well. So I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, thank you.
And I was expressing appreciation for the Japanese culture event that we had yesterday at our Clifton church to celebrate the new year. A lot of good entertainment, and I was mentioning specifically this Songuk Burns doing this acrobatic performance with his kids. Breathtaking stuff, Sometimes he made out that, his young daughter was going to fall to the floor, and the crowd was kind of woo, like this. Anyway, it was fun. Nice singing performances, all kinds of stuff there, and nice fellowship as well. So I'm grateful for all those who organized it, and we had 3 guests actually. One friend who brought 2 friends with her. That was nice, and nice fellowship. And they served some Japanese soup and mochi. So that's my appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. and Ms. Lewis, for sharing today. We will now move into True Mother's memoir, so please prepare your hearts and minds as we listen to Professor Stephen Boyd as he reads and shares his insight for today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Let's begin our reading. On September 24, 1992, a crowd of 50,000 people gathered at the Tokyo Dome. It was my first time speaking publicly in Japanese, and this was a prominent venue in Japan's capital. The audience was aware of this. No one, Korean or Japanese, had high expectations for the outcome. The organizers, being prudent, prepared a young Japanese interpreter to stand just off stage in case I faltered. But when I came to the podium and began to speak, the audience was surprised. They cheered and stood up to applaud. For a few minutes, they remained anxious, thinking, surely she'll make a mistake. But as I continued, each sentence impressed God's word in their hearts. The audience looked happy, relaxed and happy. Over the next 9 days, I gave that speech in 7 cities without losing strength. And then for 3 more days, I delivered it to Koreans residing in Japan. I uplifted the hearts of all Japanese as well as Korean women. I need to speak in America, I then told my staff. Won't that be difficult? They responded. Please, let's take at least a full day's rest before flying. But my mind was already in the West. Many people are waiting for me, I uttered without thinking. I cannot rest. Okay, so thank you, everyone. That's our reading this morning. So I have a couple of reflections. Again, we talked yesterday about mother speaking in Japanese in public. at a major speech for the first time, and what kind of courage I think that required of her. And again, if you've ever been in any kind of event, maybe you've been asked to speak, or you know the speaker, and you go out there and there's even 100 people, there could be a few thousand. You feel a certain anxiousness that all will go well, and it takes a lot of courage to go out on the stage. So as I read the passage this morning, I'm thinking of mothers standing in the wings and waiting for herself to be introduced and walking to the podium, knowing that people are wondering, is she going to be able to do this? And there's the people that were organizing the event were not sure. So they had a young Japanese lady standing there off stage, just in case. And so I'm sure that mother's thinking, oh no, I hope I don't have to use her. But also thinking, I will be determined not to have to use her. I will do well. So, and the passage explains that on numerous occasions during her talk, people applauded. And I'm sure that many of us have been at events where true parents have spoke, and people will spontaneously applaud. Sometimes it's our members who feel natural love, but oftentimes it's people who are not our members, who are struck by our words. I'm reminded that Father would teach us how to prepare ourselves before we go out into a venue to speak to even our members in our center or in a public location. Father described what he would do before he would speak. This description was from a time when Father was doing the Day of Hope tours here in America. Father did so many speaking tours, 21 city tour, 32 city tour, and he was constantly on the move, constantly busy. And Father explained that what he would do, and I'm sure Mother would do this, he would pray, and in his prayer, he would imagine the faces of the people in the audience. And he would pray for those people. And perhaps because of Father's deep prayer, he said that when he would go onto the stage, he would look for the people that he saw in his prayer. And he would look at individuals in the audience and speak to them. And Father always taught us, both in speaking and in giving the Divine Principle lecture, to cover all the contents. So because God, you never know who God has sent and which portion of your speech would be the word that would affect them deeply and they were prepared to hear. So he said, give the whole lecture, give the whole speech. And so I'm sure that Mother's looking out onto the audience, speaking in Japanese, praying and hoping that she can be a vessel through which God can work to touch the heart of God's children, but also as Mother, her children. So it was a great success. The Tokyo Dome, I've never been there. I looked it up. It's like more than Madison Square Garden. It's like Yankee Stadium and Madison Square Garden and the Javits Convention Center all rolled into one, plus a little bit of Disneyland in there, at least today. It's got rides and all kinds of things. So beautiful place, maybe like Lotte World or something like that in Korea. So I was reflecting, her words say she went through 7 cities in Japan without losing strength. And so I think that's a key phrase, without losing strength. Mother was inspired after the success of her first speech. I'm sure that she felt inspired. Let's do this again. We can do this again. I can do this again. And she went on through 7 cities in this case without losing strength. And I was reflecting on what it means to have success. Success, as we know, is more, we need organization to do well, but it's not just organization or the speaker's personal ability or charisma. Success in our work for God is really due fundamentally, I believe, when we have a selfless, God-centered motivation for whatever we're doing, in this case, speaking publicly. And so Mother sustained her strength through unity with God, but also support of the staff around her, our brothers and sisters, and the members in Korea and Japan. So if there had not been unity, I'm sure that there would not have been success. I think there are numerous times when we have seen in major events or even in smaller circumstances on a smaller scale, that when there's disunity, there's simply things don't move forward. And it sets a condition for the Cain world to attack and to invade even. So I'm sure there was unity between true parents themselves, father and mother, unity among the core staff leaders and members, unity of the Korean and Japanese membership with true parents, but in this case, especially in support of true mother. So this kind of unity creates the foundation for us to experience God's blessing and for victory to come. So as I was thinking about this and preparing for this morning's service, I was remembering a quote that I often think about from the book that was created during Father's speaking tours called New Hope, 12 Talks. I've read that book many, many times. And there's one speech in there that I'm sure many brothers and sisters are familiar with called Heart, which was given in 1973. And kind of quoting partially from the speech, Father says, "You must have unity first, because without unity, there is no love. Unity first, love, then God's ideal. Unity comes about on the horizontal level first." I think he means between people. Two elements become one, and then God's love can dwell there. In this way, we have a vertical relationship also, because God enters. Then the ideal can be fulfilled. And then I found a quote from Mother's speech that was given coincidentally in Japan in October of 2013. Just briefly, Mother says, "Unity enables us to achieve everything." So we need to be united with Mother, of course. But as I reflect about this, I had some experiences when I was living abroad where Father was present and Mother was in another country giving a speech on one of her speaking tours. I was surprised. Often our groups were small. We didn't have a huge number of members, not hundreds of members, but it'd be a relatively small group in a small room. Father would sit in a chair, and in those days, Father would ask for a telephone. So even that was a miracle to be able to have a telephone with Mother on the other side of the world. And he would listen on the telephone. They had a little speaker thing that he could hear Mother's voice through. And then later we had a satellite connection, so we kind of see the events, but this is way before, successful internet connections. And so Father would sit in his chair, we would sit on the floor, and Father would ask for like a notebook, a binder that had Mother's speeches in it. And they were laminated, and he would open it up, wait until Mother began the speech, and then he would follow along on Mother's text. And he would turn the pages as she went from page to page. He would do this every speech. And it wasn't as if Father didn't know what the speech was about. He'd heard it already, but he carefully would listen. He carefully would follow along. And then when Mother would finish, because Mother would go off stage, so we were left waiting until Mother would come back on the phone, he would reflect about Mother's speech. So we would take a break, and then somebody would say, "Okay, Mother's coming back, or Mother's gone to her room or something. Now she can talk to Father." And after every speech, two parents would greet each other, in Korean with such love in their voice. And Father would, sometimes joke with Mother, sometimes, but always with such deep love. They would greet each other. There'd be a cake. Every time there'd be a cake, and this could be one day after, but there always would be a cake. And then Father would ask brothers and sisters to sing a song of those around him. And then on her side, mother would do the same. Ask some member, a couple members to sing a song. And then sometimes true parents would sing to each other also. So this is the level of their unity. I was privileged to see sometimes how true parents would greet each other when they actually met each other physically. They really, really loved each other. And it's something we should be aware of. We should try to experience ourselves. So father was united with mother, and he totally supported her. I'm sure he was thinking how difficult this is. She needs my support more than anybody else's support. He was always there for her, always, always. And so in the same sense, I'm thinking about now, God and true parents can only advance with our unity with them. And when there's no unity, again, it can create a condition where the Cain side can attack or invade or disrupt, and things don't go well. When I first heard the term Chanulguk, I thought, that's a funny term. That's a Korean word. What does that mean? Oh, that's the kingdom of heaven. Oh, okay. So for many years, I didn't even think about what it really meant, literally. And so not too long ago, actually, I asked again, although I'd read it, and then it just didn't register. And it was actually Reverend Ki-Hoon Kim, who's in the meeting, who said, oh, Chanulguk means where two become one. That's the kingdom of heaven. So again, I'm reflecting this morning on our unity with True Mother, and that when we make unity, that's the condition for the kingdom of heaven to come. So the last thing I will say, I know there's another section here, maybe I can touch on that tomorrow, but the last thing I will say is to ask ourselves, how united am I with True Mother? Or do we just I know I do this. Mother's far away, she's in Korea, she's not in America. And so it's easy to think she's distant and she has little to do with my daily life. Oh, I don't know what mother's doing. What's mother doing? And we kind of relate to her in a general way, even a conceptual way, in a kind of a vague way. But in our breakout room, it came to me that, this opportunity to kind of lead the discussion allows me to remember some experiences I had with true parents. And I think all of us, even, for example, mother's far away, but what I like to do is I like to look at her picture. I'm sitting at my wife's desk right now, and on her desk is a small picture of True Mother in her younger years holding one of the true children. It's a black and white photo. And she's very beautiful and very loving. You can feel her loving mother spirit. So just looking at that picture draws me closer to her. I mean, you may like to look at the pictures of your mother, your physical mother, or your physical father, and reflect on that. Or you may like to look at the pictures of your children, or maybe your brothers and sisters that you're close to. There's an exercise that we can do where we can draw close to True Mother, just doing something like this and meditating on that and asking God to speak to it. I really think we need to really understand more deeply our True Mother. She doesn't express herself in the same way that True Father does, naturally. Sometimes we thought, oh, that's surprising, but actually it's kind of natural. And by meditating on True Mother, who she is, asking God, I think we can be drawn closer to her and feel more unity with her. And when unity comes, as Father said, then love appears. And then the ideal appears. So those are my reflections this morning. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Boyd, for those beautiful insights and your amazing testimonies. I'm sure we all could take so much from your message from today. So we will now go into our breakout rooms, but also please feel free to share any insights or keywords in the chat so we can read when we come back. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I had my breakout room with my family and Mr. Stephen Boyd also in my breakout room. But due to time, I won't be asking a representative, but I will be reading some takeaways that were in the chat. From Mr. Clotha, he said his key word was audience. Mr. Kemihirose, Korean or Japanese, high expectations for the outcome. Ms. Cynthia, wonderful testimony. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Yes, thank you so much for those testimonies. Mr. Ken and Mrs. Owens, they would also have a celebration over the phone with cutting the cake, then take a bite saying chop, 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 and have a small entertainment from both sides. Again, a lot of appreciation for Mr. Boyd, from Ms. Andrea Thiemann, Mrs. Caroline Hanson, Martin Luther King Day today. Yes, Martin Luther King Day today. Thank you so much, everyone, for all those takeaways and insights. We will now be moving to our Cheon One prayer vigil, and I will be now passing it on for any announcements and closing prayers from Pastor Tushi Takino.
Hi, good morning, brothers and sisters. For today, I'd like to invite Mrs. Blake, Norcos Blake, the Chosen One prayer.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Parents and our precious true parents, January 15th today, we are grateful for everything that you have given us this time of new year of 2024. All this foundation, together with our true parents, can walk side by side and going to the future of so much of the promise. And with time that we are living, we are so grateful for everything, Heavenly Parents. So it's a new day, and we are starting this new day with our community. Heavenly Parents, let us be your instrument. Let us be your true son and daughter of God, Heavenly Parents, and we really want to be like a person that it can be really pleased. We really want to put together our heart to begin. I pray all these things in the name of Noriko Sprague, present to the family. Haju.
Please feel free to unmute for unison prayer.
Good morning, Heavenly Parents and good parents.
We greet you this morning.
We came
Want
together
to
to
offer
gather
ourselves
our
before you
children,
to seal
Send us for this morning.
Father,
for
we
this time. We
even
really want to
today
connect our
celebrate
spiritual mother,
the fatherless. Father, we tried to heal some painful rhythm numerics Father, this nation needs these the worst forms of slavery means the prestige into the ideal
At ourselves
and how you
and
can use
individuals
all of what has been
and
learned
help
there.
us in our
Father, you
for you to dwell inside ourselves.
all my
That
being,
we set the foundation of unity, our
and be able
relationship.
to realize the preciousness about who God is.
Each of us, brothers and children, we can be able to go on forward.
Let's bless
Everyone
them.
has so much pride. All the blessings.
They're all suffering,
Pray that
doing their
we be able
own
to go on
hard
forward.
work.
Like some
Heavenly Father, they are perfect. We saw all their children
not also to avoid and outside
I appreciate them
for
because
being
they so we share together. All mothers
right now to see the beginning.
yes, we saw all this time.
For all the blessings.
I wish them back
Guide us this morning and
Heavenly
be able
Friend,
to strengthen us.
thank you for today,
Be able to embrace
guiding the conversations about
everything that we can.
thank
All
you
that we
for
don't
the
so much that all of us
day
can forget their emotion. The very starting
centered on you.
the best of
I
our
love
life.
each other.
Everything.
So we
Come to understand
be able so that
Thank you so much, everyone, for the prayers. Well, that concludes our today's Cheon One prayer visual. Thank you so much for everyone for joining today. I hope I see all of you guys tomorrow and have a happy Monday. Bye, guys.
have a wonderful
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you, Janet.
Thanks.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good day, everyone.
Have a great
Continue
Monday.
to enjoy your day.
Thank you very much.
Martin Daughter's
Thank you,
Day.
everyone. Have a
Oh,
good day.
Thank you,
good
Kalaba.
morning, Sister Charlotte.
Thank you very much.
Morning, Sister
Papa
Star.
Prosper. Yes.
Hey,
We are in Tim's house.
Oh, Dr.
good morning, Dr.
Hello.
Hendricks.
Yeah, good
Uh,
morning.
Bye.